Just right. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dharayati, that which holds, that which supports. That's what is Dharma. And it's supported for ever since the culture started, that's why it is Sanathana Dharma. It will also hold on to for future also. And not only that, it belongs to the mankind, maybe starting in this particular land. But if it is understood properly, I think anywhere in the world, anybody can adapt this particular Dharma. That's why it is Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma, generally people put it only one side, saying that time-wise Sanatana. But I say even space-wise is Sanatana. That means it is applicable anywhere, anybody, it can take up. That is the reason why this concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is there in this particular culture. The world is one unit. After all, how can we say that they are separate and we are separate? There is nothing like that. In fact, this culture doesn't even separate even the other species away from us. Yeah, the sutras would say that when he talked about a sutra, it applies to other species also. Like when he says that in Bhagavad Gita, one sutra, just suddenly I remembered that. He's saying that that we digest the food in 4 ways. And like that he says that. And that is what is Padhyam, Leshyam, etc., those things that are there. And it applies to not only human beings, all the other animals also, all other species also work in the same way. So that means to say, when he talks about this idea, it is about the whole mankind he's talking about. The whole species he's talking about. So that's what is the idea of Sanatana Dharma. When we can include all the species into the fold, why not human being into the other fold, all the other human beings into the fold? So therefore it applies to everybody. That's why we have this idea, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. All the species, let there be Sukha in that. So this concept,
yes. So-called non-living beings also are included.
Non-living being, we never separated living or non-living living being. That's the reason why, in fact, that's what is the mantra today, it will come to that. The beings which are life and non-life, everything is belong to Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam. That's what is the mantra which says. That means includes everything. Then why we had the same kind of a yardstick for both of them? It comes from the same Brahman. And what happens is that there are certain species where that it is, they follow their own laws. Like for example, a stone follows its own law. And whereas a plant follows its own law. What we perceive is that plant has life and then stone doesn't have life. A stone has a different form and plant has a different form. Animal has a different form. We have understood these things very clearly. That's why the whole thing has one unit. In fact, that's the reason why we could say that whatever that is there made out of all the Panchabhutas outside, the same Panchabhutas are within us. Like Prithvi, Apa, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, all those things are there. And it was a little digression, but later on I'll be mentioning very clearly. But very simple thing is often people take this as Prithvi is earth. And earlier there were 5 elements, earth, fire, water. Now that further elements were divided into so many things. It was not the question of Prithvi, Apa, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha. As 5 elements, that they have. This is what is, we translated that as element, but otherwise, tattvas. These are the pancha tattva, five tattvas. Tattva means it's not just element, it's a form. Like for example, whatever that is in the solid form, we call it as Prithvi. Whatever that is supposed to be the liquid form, we call it as apaha. Whatever that is there in the form of the gas, that's what is vayu. And then in the form of light, it is called as tejas. That means energy. So like that, it includes all the forms in that. Prithvi, apa, tejo, vayu, akasha. Wherever it is space, kind of a form it is there, where crudely we call it as akasha, a space, but otherwise akasha form, it's all supposed to be the element. So therefore, these are the five different tattvas that are made out of. Unfortunately, when we translate English, we translate it as earth, fire, water, etc. But that's not the real thing. It's a form that is there. So milk, you call it as water. It is a water tattva. That means to say it has a properties of why that these properties have become very important is that we say that consciousness is the freedom, and then look at all these tattvas. They have got little degrees of freedom, less and less and less, and by the time it comes to the solid, it becomes completely less. This is what is the idea. But all of them is made out, all of them are made out of same consciousness. And that's what we say that there is a degree of freedom introduced the moment it comes to the Jala Tattva. Jala Tattva means it's a liquid form. Liquid form take any shape, whereas solid form cannot take a shape. Or if you want a solid to be in a particular shape, you convert into liquid form and give a shape. So therefore, that freedom is there. Similarly, when you come to the gas form, these liquids do not have the freedom of taking any volume. The moment that volume element is introduced, that's what is the vayu. Then from vayu, then it goes to further. That's what is the question of energy. And so like the stages. Then all these things are, any form can be possible, openness that is there. That's what is Akasha Tattva. Akasha Tattva is, the beautiful concept of Akasha Tattva is that all other things, they are replaced when something is introduced. Akasha will not be replaced. Like for example, in this place that there were no furniture, so you'll be using Akasha. Now you fill it up all this place. Will the Akasha be say replaced somewhere else? No, Akasha takes the form. Avakasha, that's why it comes from that. It has a possibility of taking any shape, any form, anything like that. It doesn't have to be replaced. Any freedom of that particular thing, we call it as Akasha. And we have all those things within us. We are made out of all these five different qualities, elements within us. So therefore, all that, whatever that is there in our culture, we didn't have the idea of that this is living and this is not living. Jagatyama jagat, when he says that, it means everything that is there. Gacchati te jagat, that which moves, which doesn't move, a jagat. That means it's the solid form in that, it doesn't move. This is also part of the Brahman itself. This is the sutra which we had the idea. So we didn't have separated these two things. Though we did not separate it, but we can, for the purpose of utility, that we can use that with their property. That's how we, as I said, a liquid form takes a shape. A solid will not take a shape. So therefore, I convert it to liquid so that it will take a shape. It's easy for me to understand that way. So this is how essentially all these things are part of this degree of freedom, and reduced, it becomes like that. Even within this body also, there is something which is solid. That means it has to be having that property of solidness so that we maintain that our bones and this and that, they are all like that. Similarly, we have the intellect, which has got the avakasha. I mean, how much avakasha we use it, that's a different issue. But then it's provided with us like that. So once we understand, then it becomes easy for us. So we have all these five elements within us. Only thing is that in this case of human being, apart from these five elements, that we also have what is called as the consciousness itself. free consciousness itself that is there, which is not there in the other species. Or to this degree that we have, they don't have it. They've got very limited. That's why we say that it is said that a goat is tied to a rope, and as long as that rope stretches itself to graze, and then feels that that is the freedom. But the freedom is limited by that. If the goat does not go extend that rope, does not extend it, goat feels that I am Brahman because I can eat anything, I can be anything. But only thing is when it goes to the extent of trying to find beyond that rope, then it feels that it is restricted. It is restricted. Other than that, it is not there. So within the limits that you are free. So goat has that freedom. So this is how essentially the degree of freedom were restricted in certain cases. In human being case, it is unlimited. That's why if you can really identify yourself with that unlimited freedom within you, you are one with the Brahman. So therefore, all these things are various properties which maintain that. So this property, what we call it as Dharma. So in that sense, that human being has Dharma, fire also has Dharma, water also has Dharma, everything has Dharma. So when we say Sanatana Dharma, we included everything in this. That's why my very discussion started with the simple idea of Dharma of water, Dharma of fire. It's an essential feature of that. So from there it started. So we are not excluded anything. So now what happens? Then we said that in the case of human being, we require something so that we can live together. You also live, I also live. So that's the reason why we said that we have to have this ethics. That's what is Nyaya. We have to be bound by ethics. So therefore, Nyaya is created. And as long as that we follow the Nyaya, that we are wonderful, we are safe, we can mutually live, everything is there. But I said one more thing in that class, that is, Nyaya should come from within us. Otherwise, then we will be unnecessarily spending so much money, time, etc. on the enforcement and punishment. All these things come into the picture. When your law is coming from within you, Nyaya is coming from within, where is the question of law enforcement? So there was a situation in this particular culture where people understood it very clearly. Therefore, the Nyaya was coming from within. Therefore, we didn't have much to do about the enforcement and all those things. In fact, Macaulay also writes about that in this particular society. It was like that. But they only said that in this society it is like that. They never thought that we should adapt the same thing in the other societies. Rather than that, they thought that how to destroy this particular feature of the society. It is a reverse way that they thought about it. So we said that Nyaya is something which can be established. Then I said that Dharma is something which rises above the level of Nyaya. And that's what is basically, it takes care of Nyaya, inclusive, but at the same time, it rises above the Laya, the Nyaya, like whatever that we have seen the examples where people have done something which is much more than Nyaya says there are certain things to be done. Like eldest of the family should get the kingdom, etc., etc. Rama said, you don't know the ways of Dharma, I am following the Dharma. So that means it is not only satisfying Nyaya, but rising above that. It must be so extraordinary that Lakshmana, the moment he heard that, he said, Rama, I will go along with you. That is the kind of thing. And Lakshmana's mother also says, that Sumitra says to Lakshmana that please take care of Rama. Is a precious brother of yours, like that. So therefore, it has to happen. Now, this is one aspect of it which takes care of it. The second thing I say, what really holds us is the Satya, truth. In fact, we are interacting. Two people are interacting. We are human being. And the nature itself follows Satya. There is in the nature, everywhere there is Satya, is original. Other than Satya, there is nothing else. Because that's the starting point. All the other, like for example, a dog understands a dog, a cat understands it. In that, there is no confusion at all. When it comes to human being, that we need to really consciously follow the Satya. Satya is a pillar for this particular culture to survive. And the Satya, what I said, is something which comes from right from the level of consciousness all the way up to the practice. If we have one It's like a spinal cord. There's a full support from top to bottom. Such a culture cannot be destroyed. That's why we had that Yuga, Satya Yuga, where all these things were in alignment, absolute alignment. There is no way anything, any force can shake this particular thing. But then slowly, second Yuga, third Yuga, we have come to a level where only Satya is remaining in what you do it. You might say 100 things, but do you do it? That's what is important. So essentially, it comes down to that. At this point of time, if somebody says, okay, I will say, also I will hold on to what I say. Wow, he's a great fellow. Because basically that at least two padas, two supports are there for Satya. So that's why it is called the Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga. That means whatever is done is Satya, Krita, and then slowly it comes down to a level where we have now in the Kali Yuga. Now, what happens after this? When this particular thing also, what you work is also not accounted, then this society will go back to understand, I need to establish Satya from the root itself. And therefore the Krita Yuga comes. We have this cycle of yugas was explained in the Vedas because of this particular reason. So second point of Dhara, that which holds, is the Satya. And the third aspect of this particular thing is, I said this, we mutually live. We have to exist. Therefore, what exists on that, there are great people who have shown that extraordinary character as Dharma, because that they have done the charity, the Dana. And we have seen such people have shown such extraordinary, wonderful degree of charity. That's what we have seen the example of Karna, Shipi Chakravarti, and then Bali Chakravarti. Though he was supposed to be a Danava, but he had that wonderful quality of Dana. So therefore, the story is that Bali Chakravarti is not eliminated, but he is kept down there. Why he was kept down? Because basically, he had the wonderful guna called Dana, but at the same time, he had arrogance of Dana. Dana is good, but arrogance of Dana is something which is typical. So that's what is taken care of. So this is the third aspect of Dharma that we have seen. And we have seen various other facets of Dharma, Dana. And Dana means giving. In fact, if you want this, the whole thing is to see that how the society, the culture survives, it's by Dana. It becomes flourishes by Dana. That means I have it, I give it. What more than I take it, I give it. This is what the prayer that Upanishad says, that Jivane yavata danam syat pradhanam tato dikam. Give me one ability, prayer to the God. Oh God, give me that ability that I give much more than I take. Then what happens? You are being in this nature, in this world. You have made this world a better world because we have been giving to the world outside. So world becomes a better place. And that's what is the nature. A flower flowers, doesn't ask anything in return, spreads the fragrance. A flower gives the nectar for so many bees to survive. See, that means bees survive because of the flower. So whole nature is something which is in giving. If I am really part of this nature, I should also be emulating that particular concept of giving, so that by giving, that the world becomes much better. So that's why this Dana is the third thing which really holds on to this particular Sanatana Dharma. Essential feature of Sanatana Dharma. Actually, in Chandogya Upanishad, there's a discussion that goes on where he says that story, they're all just two ways. Like, for example, one word you give me for that sustenance of this definition of Dharma, then Brahma says Da. And then the way that you understand it, so Danavas understand it in a different way, and then Devatas understand it in a different way. So therefore, Devata said that it is Dana. So therefore, Dana survives. Danavas, they thought that you just go on butchering people, Danda. So that's why they went on killing people. So, and in the process that they die, actually, the process is that it eliminates you. You will not be there. Just imagine that if even a thief survives, even a person who tells lies survives, he survives because that somebody is there to tell him truth, not lie. He may be telling lies everywhere, but he wants people to tell him the truth. That means his belief is in the truth itself. So maybe somebody is eliminating everybody, but he has to feeling that nobody should eliminate me. This is what happened in the communistic rule when uh, the great leaders, that is Stalin, was there. He was afraid of everybody because he was killing so many people that he thought people will kill him. So he was so afraid of people killing him. They might mix poison in it because he was mixing poison to everything. He said it should not be mixed. So therefore, he made a special rule that only his daughter, Svetlana, she is supposed to bring the food. She used to bring the food. Even that he could not believe. Because I don't know, she may be in touch with somebody. And in the same family, somebody might be doing that. Only daughter. They did not have faith. So therefore, his junior was there, and that's what is Nikita Khrushchev. And Nikita Khrushchev, he would make him to sit in front of him, eat the food that he got, wait for about a couple of hours. If nothing happened to Khrushchev, he would eat. What a tragedy it is that he could not believe his own daughter. So this is how basically the fear. At least he wants somebody should at least be with him. So finally, even the evil also survives at the good only. Even that's why I said that untruth should look like truth to survive. Truth is so powerful that unless if an untruth is there, which doesn't look like truth, nobody believes that. That's why the Puranic story that Ravana has to come in the form of a rishi to take away Sita. If he comes as Ravana, Sita will not go with him. Even the evil has to survive like that. So that's what is the way that power of truth is something which is extraordinary, that which survives. So therefore, dana is something which is to give so that the world survives. Give much more than you take. This is what is the simple way. And it is present in various ways. One way it presented is that who is the rich? Who can give, he is rich. You can't improve that definition. That's there. See how many ways that our Puranas, our stories, Itihasa, will convey this message. One place it is Yudhishthira's statement, another place it is somebody else's statement, but the central crux of the issue is dana. So therefore, this dana, but actually this dana is in the world outside, and world is full of these different three gunas that are there. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives in the 17th chapter various aspects of dana in the form of sattva, rajas, tamas. But all these three things are dana. And the way that he says is that the sattvic person dana is datafkimite yaddanam diyate anupakarini deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam sattvikam sittam. Deshe kale cha the patre cha. That means you see that somebody really needs it, and then datasya, he just gives it. Diyate anupakarini. That means he doesn't hesitate, he just gives it. In fact, there's such a beautiful example that is there in Gandhi's example. You know, there's one school teacher went to Mahatma Gandhi to ask donation for the school. And then, you know, in Sabarmati Ashram, Gandhi was sitting at that time, this grocery came, and all the groceries were being transferred to the respective vessels and whatever. And then all the paper and the thread with white, but it was there, and Bapuji was actually making all the papers straight and all that, and then thread he was putting into in the form of a bundle. So the student, when this person, the headmaster came, and Bapuji was doing that, so he looked at Bapuji doing all those things, and Bapuji said, "Come sit down. So how is school going on? How is everything going on?" He said, "Fine, nothing. Everything is fine." But all those things he is talking, but he's observing what Gandhiji is doing. And then finally, when Bapuji said that, okay, no, he said, "Bapuji, I'll take leave of you. But then you have come here, wanted to ask some donation or something like that, some help for the school. How is the school running?" "No, no, school is running all right. I need some money, but I'll raise the donations and all that. Nobody have come here, ask me. And then Bapuji gave a check for 10,000 rupees. Those days 10,000 rupees is so much. I said, we can improve them. He was shocked. Gave the money. He said, I know that you are shocked. Bapuji said, because you saw that I'm putting this thread and this paper and all that, saving that. With that, I'm a little miserly. I may not give any money. But Bapuji said, it has its value. Money has its value. Education has its value. So therefore, I give money to the education. Dana. So your dana is impaired, not impaired by your psychology side. You know where the value is. So that's what he says, that satvika dana is that you know that there is purpose, there is a purpose, the leading, and then you give it, datasya tendya, diyate anupakarini. That's what is the idea. Deshe kale cha patreta, taddan satvikam smritam. Yattu pratyupakarati phalamadishyatapana. And many times what happens is that you do the dana because that dana will keep something else for you later. Pratyupakara. That means somebody has done so that you do it, so that it will be repeated. That's also fine, but it is satvika, it is rajasika dana. But it will people together. So diyatecha pariklishtam tad dana rajasamskrita. And third dana is tamasic dana. He says that adeshakale yad danam aprapyabhyasya diyate anupastam avajnanam tat tamasam. There people do the dana, but then they don't see whether it is going to the right direction, this and that. They don't look at all those things. But then they do the dana. This is tamasic dana. Don't go into the detail. That's also fine. Because many times what happens is that your dana has got the benefit. You might not get the benefit of it, but understood about that. But it might change the person outside. So these are the three different types of dana that is there in the people. This is what Bhagavad Gita gives us in the 17th chapter of Gita. This actually Trigunas Vibhaga. That's what it talks about. So these are all the various ways. Now what happens is that dana is something that you give so that the others are benefited. And it's all about the material world that you do. But then there is another important aspect of it. That's what to the next level that it takes you to. Now here, actually, the turn of spirituality comes to the picture. That's what is dana. We often use these two things very loosely in the sense that without any connection. One is dana and the other is tyaga. Tyaga is something different. Tyaga is nothing to do with the dana. Dana is actually you are giving it to somebody. It's benefited, it's useful, something like that. It's useful to you, useful to the others. That's what you give. But tyaga is not like that. Upanishad takes it to a higher level. That's why Upanishad doesn't mention about dana so much as tyaga. And that's what in the Upanishad we have this idea. Na karmana na praja dhanena tyagena ki amritattva manusha. Now here tyaga is something different. Similarly, most powerful sutra is the Isavasya Upanishad. The very first sutra itself brings about the concept of tyaga, saying that Ishavasya midam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena punjayata tyaga bhavena punjita magrudah kasya svittanam. Tyaktena is tyaga bhavena. Magrudah kasya svittanam. Every word is a golden one. He says that Ishavasya midam sarvam. There is nothing that is yours. Everything is nothing but God. Avasyam, achadaniyam, arikalpitam, all these things are supposed to be Isha. Isha is also Icha. That also comes from Icha, desire. So it's passionately created by the God himself. That means you are also passionately, he wanted that, that's why you are there. So now it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to him. Because he created, it belongs to him. No, whatever that he created belongs to him, but whatever I created belongs to me. No. Sarvam Isha Avasya. Nothing belongs to himself. And that mantra, when the Upanishad said about it, Ishavasya, Nidam Sarvam, it is not just a mantra, he says, it's an expression he gives for the feeling inside. Wow, it's nothing but God. Everything is nothing but that feeling is there, that experience is there. In that experience, this mantra comes about. Ishavasyapitam sarva yatkincha jagatyam jagat. So that's what is the idea. He brings about. That means it's an experience. It's not something very just poetically he's talking about. It's not calculated saying that everything is consciousness, therefore gives something like that. Nothing like that. He felt that it is nothing but divinity. Ishavasyapitam sarva. This is something you can see that similar kind of statement in the Upanishads, various places, like the Taittiriya Upanishad mantra is there, where the Rishi suddenly experiencing that me and all that food, everything that is there is no different. Ahamannam, 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 ahamannado, hamannado, hamannadaha. Repeatedly he says that. Repeatedly means it's a feeling being expressed again and again and again and again. Are I'm the hunger, I'm the food. Food is not separate, hunger is not separate, it's all me. He must have that experience. Because of that experience only, that mantra after that follows is the how, ahamannam, ahamannam, ahaman. That means how is nothing but it's an expression. Wow. It's a wow expression. It doesn't have a literal meaning. It's an expression of how. It's like a child getting it. And this is what Upanishad also say. This is Vismaya. Vismaya is sense of wonder. So you are into the sense of wonder. So here also the Rishi goes into the sense of wonder, saying that, wow, Isha Avasya Vidam San. How can you not claim? You cannot claim, I cannot claim, it's mine. Because everything is his. Because you look at anything, it's he who is creating. Like for example, if I say that I have done it, your birth is not your creation. It's not even the creation of your parent. Your parents are only just provided a accommodation for you, that's how you are born. It's not their own thing. And in fact, when you go like that, it is some divine force which has really brought you all here, brought all of us here. So, and then it will take away. The beginning is not in our hands, birth. Death is not in our hands. So in between journey, do you think that we have in hands? Nothing. In fact, we never planned that things will happen. It is like the way that I build the house. No, God created me, but it's me. I'm there here. After all, I'm here, therefore I'm me. It's like the way that you build a house. You build a house and put the things together so the house is made. The house will not say that, look, I am, if the house is supposed to have ego, the house will say that, yeah, you know, this fellow is my servant. Whatever that I want, he will do for me, for my sake. So it's like that. And in fact, in the Islamic law, they say like that. It's like all the other forces are your servant. Surya Namaskar, they are against it because that sun is our servant. God has created sun like our servant. He has to rise every morning and then set every night so that he will give us a light. You people, you pray a river. A river is working for us. God created river so that it works for us. They are our servants. What an unfortunate thing that is. Whereas we say that everything is nothing but God. Isha Avasya. So, nothing is yours. Now, there's a very interesting fact about it. Nothing is yours for what? Because it's everything is by same God. This is where the basic difference is. You cannot create anything. It's nothing but combination that you have done. Nothing you can create. Water that you say you cannot create because it's oxygen and hydrogen put together, it becomes water. There is some relationship because which it's put together and became water. See, what can you create? You cannot create. You can only combine things and all make something. So, a recipe out of it. But even that recipe, based on some intellect, which is also given to you. If you did not have that intellect, you will create that recipe. Even that's also not yours. Look, when you go back that way, there is nothing that you can say that you have done it. You cannot claim on anything that you have done it because it's all happening. And before you are born, it's happening. And after that, you are die also, it will happen. Millions of years it has been happening. And whatever that was happening, its continuation is what today it is. You cannot remove yesterday from today. Today is born out of yesterday. So all these things are continuing. That is what is happening. So there is nothing that you can claim. But here there is an interesting fact is that you are nobody, but only thing is God has created everything. So now it is up to you that you identify yourself with the God. That's a simple thing. The same science also, what happened is that science eliminated man from in between, saying that there is nothing like man, human being, there is nothing like it. It's nothing but various DNA, RNA put together, all these chemicals put together, that's what you are. What about your blood? It's nothing but DNA, RNA. Your muscles, it's the same thing. Your blood is something. And this, see, after all that, you are nobody. You are only this material that is there. Why the science was against this, but we went in this way, is that in the first place, that before even Christianity came, everything was nothing but divinity that was there in the world. But then the church came forward and then wanted to bring down human being. And that's why they said that, all right, you are born, but born out of sin. So therefore that you are apology. Because why you are a sinner? So that somebody has to save you. So Jesus is there to save you. So in order to gain that point, that they made you sinner, original sin. Because that you cannot deny it. Everybody is born out of the sin. So therefore, that original sin, people really took it as sin. And therefore, basically, that you are a sinner. In order to remove that aspect of it, the science said, no, no, no. There is nothing like Adam and Eve. There is nothing like sinner. We are all evolved. We are all evolved. Where from we have evolved, that's where basically Sigmund, he came, Descartes came and said that we are all evolved from the ape. See, look at that. On one side that we were thinking that we are from the sun, God. We are from the sun, we are from the God. But then he said that you are not even evolved from the God, but you are from ape, you are evolved. See, what a blasphemy that is, saying that your grandfather, great grandfather was an ape. Then you evolved. Evolution theory came forward because of that reason. So that itself was confusing for people because that human being is not even a human being originally, he is an ape. But then later on, the science started doing all kinds of experiments, and then they found that you are not even an ape because something which is close to you is a pig, guinea pig. So studies on guinea pig shows that studies on human. So close to human being is a pig. But what a blasphemy that is. What is the way to look at human being? On one side, we were saying that we identify with the God. They reduced all those things. Then the science further progressed because science has different branches. So physicists said that the medical science said that you are from ape, and then somebody else said that. Anthropologists said you are from ape. And the physical scientists, they said that you are from closer to pig, all those things. Then later on, the physicists came, said, no, you are all nothing but energy. DNA, RNA, all these things put together, and that's what you are. That means you are not even a living being. See how the science has put. You don't have any thing called as life. You are nothing but DNA, RNA put together, all those things. Oh, confusion. But then, in this way, that they have eliminated it, and you are like a machine. So, program, that's why they said that a tree is programmed. A mango tree is programmed to give mango fruits. A bird makes a nest, and it has no intelligence. It's not got any school or anything like that to learn how to make the nest. And the bird's mother also made nest, and her mother also made nest. So everybody is making nest. And many times what happens, the little bird comes out of the egg. Mother itself is not there somewhere in it. So who will teach that little one? So it's all programmed. Therefore, nobody is there to teach. Program means what? It's a machine. They converted the whole creation into machine. And human being is also programmed that way. You are programmed to do these things. You are programmed to get angry. You are programmed to love. You are programmed to do this. All those things are programmed. This is the unfortunate thing about the human being. He is converted into machine. Your intelligence, it's also programmed. Your memory, it's also programmed. Now, they can also duplicate it, saying that outside I can create memory. Outside you, they can create processing. Outside they can create. That's how computers have come. Now computers have replaced man, not in the sense of physically outside, but very important thing is the concept of computer replaced the importance of man. Today, computer has better memory, better processing, and better ability to do these things. And most important thing is it's very safe. Computer doesn't have any feeling, whereas you feel it. So therefore, they said that the human being is inferior because he is feeling, to cut down the feeling. That's why their whole attack is on the feeling. But they converted everything into material. So there is one science which is talking about something which is beyond the man in the form of divinity. There's another science which says that the matter is the end of it, the machine is the end of it, intelligence is all belongs to matter. So these are the two worlds. Now, in this worldview, when you take it, this is something which is extraordinary. Nowhere else this particular concept of Tyaga is there, which is there in the Indian culture. Because basically what happened is that Nakarmana naprajaya dhane. All these things are about the material world outside. None of these things will give you amrutatva. See very carefully. Nakarmana naprajaya dhanena, you will not get amrutatva. Tyage neki amrutatva bhaksha. Amrutatva is gained by tyaga. So they brought about a different concept altogether. So this tyaga concept is not dana. Dana was simple, easy. And we have historically figures who have done this tyaga. Now we see that such a great king, like Siddhartha was there, all the kingdom was there, everything was there, riches were there. Suddenly gave up everything and went away. He is not giving up for something, somebody, or some gain or something. He just gave it up and everything went away. Siddhartha. What for he went away? It's very clearly that he was looking for something which does not undergo the process that's there in the material world. Something beyond that. This is extraordinary thing about human being. No other animal, no other species on this earth can think that there is something which is beyond the death. Something beyond that we can see. And this is what essentially the human being. That's why the question started in Siddhartha. When Chinna was taking him, he asked Chinna, why they are carrying this body? Why they are carrying him? He said, he is no more. He died. What do you mean by dead? That means he's not there anymore. Then what? Then what? There is nothing. That's the end of it. Hurry. That means whole life is nothing but reaching to the death, preparing for the death. Earlier we used to have a calendar. It's all, every day is like a paper. And every day you have to tear off that paper. So actually, really speaking, that was our life. Every day you are tearing off your paper. That's it. So one day there is no more paper left. You're free from that. So is that the way? That's what is the end of it? Yeah, that's what is the whole end of it. Chinna didn't even understand the question which Siddhartha was asked. He said, let's go. And he left the palace and went. Left the palace. Chinna says that, palace, you come, your wife, and your child is 1 year old, or 1 day old, just born that day. Rahul was born that day. I mean, it's a different Rahul. But anyway, that day. And even that, he left him and went away. What must have been? Must be such an extraordinary, wonderful force to know that something beyond this life can exist. We have such stories. This is where Tyaga comes with the picture. They have everything, but then they have given up. This is what is Tyaga. It's not Dana. Dana is still useful. Dana belongs to the world outside. Tyaga is something which seems to be something beyond this world. And if at all there is anything that survives this culture, it's Tyaga. And that's what Upanishad mantra says, Tyage neke amrutatva bhaksha. Mrita not being this, amrutatva is what is Tyaga. Now what happens is, you can see that in so many ways that Upanishads have expressed this particular concept of Tyaga, included this concept of Tyaga. And that's where another beautiful story that comes in the case of Yajnavalkya and his wife, that Maitreya is there. So he had a lot of wealth, the cows and all that they were there. He divided into between two wives. Katyayani gave it, and then Maitreya he gave. He said, told with the other wife, she can survive, enough is there, I've given it to her. Now this portion I'm giving it to you, and then I'm going. And it's not because need based on anything. Whatever that he has, I give it. Then he says that she asked, why are you giving all these things? Because I'm going in pursuit of happiness. But is it not there in this material? So it's not in this material. So therefore I'm giving it up. Vittena asha nasti. It's not that possible. Then why are you giving it to me? You know that there is nothing in this money, and then you are giving it to me. What do you think of me? You see that you don't find wealth in this particular material. Do you think that I will find it? How stupid you are. She did not say that, mantra is not there, but it obviously made clear. He became really sorry. Wow. Then she asked the next question, then where is it? Then he says, now basically, and then the whole chapter starts. And then Katyayani, Maitreya goes along with So that's what is the idea. See, Tyaga is adapted there. See, Dana is with a particular purpose, and there is some eligibility, etc., etc. But in Tyaga, it is not like that. Just give it. Give it away. Don't even look at whether it is serving or not. Because you are not giving it to a particular person. Your giving is very important. This is another thing which is extraordinary thing which survives this particular culture. Again and again, you see that the Tyaga being there repeatedly at every point of time. Just Tyaga being there. Tyaga, we don't have a better word in English, therefore we translate it as sacrifice. But sacrifice is not the right word, but we don't have, see, many Sanskrit words do not have equivalent in English. So let's use it as Tyaga only, but it is one step beyond the level of Dana. Dana is with a purpose, with an idea, which you give. Tyaga is not with any purpose. Now, therefore, basically, the moment that you attach Tyaga with any purpose, it's no more a Tyaga. I do this Tyaga so that I get the Paramatma, I get the Brahman, I get this. Even that's not also Tyaga. Tyaga cannot have anything. The moment you attach any purpose behind the Tyaga, it's no more a Tyaga. It's a higher level. That's what happened in the case of Nachiketa and his father, Vishwajit. Vishwajit is doing yoga, and then he was giving away everything that was there. He was giving away, but for a purpose of getting something. You give away something for the purpose of getting something. It's not a Tyaga. It's another, you are doing the business investment.
Is that a tamasic dana?
Not even tamasic dana, it's a business investment. That's all. So therefore, it's not Tyaga.
So this Tyaga is totally internal.
Totally internal. Yes, it's absolutely internal.
So give some more examples.
Yeah. I'll give you more. I'll give you some more examples.
Is mother's love for
I-
the child.
Going along, in fact, that's what is the thing. I'll give you right from the beginning the examples of small mother's love also comes at the end of it. But then before that, I will give the simple thing is look at the way that the seed gives itself up completely, not expecting anything in return, not even, but then it becomes a plant. Flower gives itself up everything, doesn't even know what the next step is. Then it becomes a fruit. That means there is social order that is there. And this Tyaga has been there in this, and this Tyaga itself is Yajna. It's constantly Yajna is going on in the nature. That's why Tyaga is going on. Everywhere that you can see that. So this Tyaga, when at that level it is like that. Similarly, In the plant, in the animals, the birds and plants, you can see that how much there is tyaga in that. Nothing is returned, nothing is expected. But only thing is that in the case of all these plants, animals, and all that, birds, tyaga is programmed. But tyaga is programmed. They just do it. They don't expect anything in return. They're just doing it. Only human being calculates. And not only that, he claims, you don't know how much I took care of you when you are growing up. Demanding today you should take care. Right? It's just that you took care of me because of yourself, not because of me. You wanted me, therefore you took care. See this. Is there a way that we can bring in this tyaga in our way of life? This tyaga is something which sustains this particular culture. This culture, this idea of tyaga is not there in any other culture. Extraordinary wonderful contribution of Sanathana Dharma. Extraordinary wonderful contribution is the concept of tyaga. That's why Upanishad says tyagena ke abjatatsam. Similarly, in Ishavasya Upanishad also, tena tyaktena punjitaha magrata kasya sviddhanam, but he doesn't stop there. Now what happens is that you need to do the work here. And tyaga is extraordinary concept it brings about. With that tyaga as the basis behind it, then you do the activity. It doesn't allow you to go like that. That's why he says, next to sutra he points you. Purvanneveha karmani jije vishet shatagam sapaha evam tvai nanyate stosti na karma lipyate nare. Why don't we do the tyaga? What is that which doesn't come in the way of tyaga, which comes in the way of tyaga? And that is what is karma lepa. And it is not just one time. He says that it is not that disinterested way that you do it. Some people do it. I do the activity because it's a duty. Duty is the wrong word. I tell many people duty is the wrong word, that they beat me. But otherwise, it's not because the duty. Duty doesn't have that joy, passion, involvement. And that's what he says, Jiji Vishet, Jivita Vichet. You need to really support everything. That's what Ishavasya Upanishad says. Jivita Vichet, Jiji Vishet, Shatagum Samaha. It's not one day or 2 days. If you take one life, it is 100 years. Life after life, it is multiplied by 100 times. And that you need to do it. And how do we do it? Jiji Vishesh Shatagam Samaha. Evam Tvai na anyate astihi. There is nothing else other than doing the activity. Na karma lipyate. Don't get caught up by the work. Wow. Don't get caught up by the, touched by the work. Work should not lipyate, lepa, that means it attaches you. Karma should not become a lepa for you. The karma, any other thing can become a lepa, but karma should not become a lepa.
What is lepa?
Lepa means, which is painting. Karma should not be painted on you. You should not get attached to, or you should not get caught up in that karma. Wow. How? Huh? You know, karma palatyaga. Karma palatyaga is much later. It says karma itself should not become a lepa. See, there is one important idea. It's not karma palatyaga. Karma lepa is not there. You know, lepa is, it itself smears on you. Not that you want to be attached, all that, nothing. But it itself smears on you. That's why the example he gives is that you are going through the tunnel of smoke and you smoke, you become caught by smoke. See, beautiful example is from Padmapatra Mivapasa. You are in the dirt and you rise above the dirt. Dirt is your bed, food, living, everything. But then you come out not being touched by the. That way this world has to be taken care of. The karma lipyate. First Upanishad of all the 8 major Upanishads, this is the first Upanishad, is Isha Upanishad. And first 2 mantras, bold you, finish. How to do that? What do you mean by that? And we have such examples, we have done that. I can give you You wanted some more examples? As we go ahead, then I'll take from the Upanishad, from the Shastra, Puranas, examples of that. Nakarma lipyate nare. I'll give you that examples. To give you the idea why this part of Dharma is supposed to be, one of the ideas of Dharma is the Tyaga. But then it is not complete discussion of Dharma, because then further deeper concept that Dharma will take us to. See, look at the way from Nyaya, how slowly Dharma is deepening and deepening and deepening. That's a beauty of it. After all those things, then I will talk about various other questions that are there. Why we do this, why we do that, these are all minor things. These are all, they need explanation, but then we'll talk about that later. Stop here.
It's the bondage, no bondage.
Hmm?
In Yaga, there is no bondage.
Yeah.
In Dana, there is bondage.
In Dana, there is a bondage. And Dana is at the material level. I do Dana because it's useful. I still have a usefulness of the material.
There also
Give
is
me a
no
hint.
Dana.
Huh?
Na.
See, Dana,
Dana also we can use to give, which should not be yours. Like
It should not be?
It's like Taga only, little bit, but in the material.
in Tyaga, material loses its importance. See, Dana, material still is important. So the story goes like this, just to give one more small little idea about that. The sage is going and the wife is coming behind, Usually that happens, men walk faster and women behind. He goes ahead and he saw there's some gold, heap of gold lying down on the street. He said, she's coming from behind. I'm really realized, but only thing is she's still stuck up with this. So why not I just hide this? Because women and gold, kamini kanchan, important, so therefore why don't I hide it? He makes a hole, put all the gold. For me, mati taka is one this. That's what is para in Bengali we say. Mati and taka is money. It's all gold. And it's all one and the same thing. But for her, the gold is gold and mud is mud. So in order to save her, then he would put everything in the hole, covering with the mud. By the time she comes and then watches. And then she saw this fellow is putting mud on the gold. So, then what are you doing? Covering mud with the mud? For her, it is still gold. But for him, it is still gold, mud. So therefore, for her, it is already gold, mud.
Mud.
So she says, covering mud with the mud. And then next dialogue, she says, I thought you have walked quite ahead. I thought you have realized, but you are not. I felt guilty of it. That means what a transformation has to occur. Gold becomes no gold. Then the tyaga happens. See, dana, there is an ego. Ego can, tyaga, ego cannot build up because material loses its value. And then we'll go deep into the tyaga. Tyaga is just introduced.
Dana, say da, na. ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋದು.
ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಅದು.
That is dana.
That is supposed to be dana. ನಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಂತ.
So Bhishma took the vow that he is ready to give up the kingdom and also
Yeah.
marriage, So that is Tyaga only, right?
It's not yet tyaga. So let's try to understand what is tyaga. Then you see the importance of it. I'll give you so many examples for that. Tyaga, how it can take it. Such depth of understanding is there in this culture. I don't think that there any world spiritual literature has any idea semblance anywhere close to this.
Gandhari giving up her eyes.
Sorry,
Gandhari giving up her eyesight.
giving up what?
Gandhari giving up her eyesight because to want to marry Dhritarashtra. That is also not Tyaga.
I mean, that is, all these things we try to understand. See, there are certain characters we held them very high, and everything will drop down, finish. Come to understand these things. See, look at the way that I said the way that how Buddha has done it. It suddenly raised to the highest level. That's why Buddha is a reincarnation. All the others. Anyway, we go into the depth of it. I'll show you several examples of where is this Tyaga and how the Tyaga manifested. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
What is Isha Vasyam and
Isha Avasyam.
Avasyam?
They come Avasyam, Achadani, that is covered. So they join together Isha Avasyam. It is Sanskrita, it is Sandhi, Savardha Dirgha Sandhi. Isha plus Avasyam, Isha Avasyam. Idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyaktena bunjitaha. Bunjitaha is palayeta. Magrutaha asya swintam. In fact, I've not yet said the second part of the sutra. Because when I said that second part of the sutra, it makes much more important information about this Tyaga. Tera tyaktena bunjita. Now, Magrita kasya swintam. See, why he has to say that? Intricate importance is there by the Rishi.
Any question? Okay, some are there. Okay. It's it's proven that information is in the DNA. Okay, I don't know with relation to what she has told. Oh. Okay, the session was informative. I'm not able to read. Why every time feeble it's written, I don't understand. Some have already told everyone that the sound is good.
Sound is not good.
We had muted everyone. Why? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, in the beginning, there was some sound coming from
Oh,
somebody.
okay, okay.
I think immediately they have muted it.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone.